Well, I am Congressman Ed Royce from California. I chair the Foreign Affairs Committee. It's good to welcome Chairman Su here to the Capitol. He was kind enough to welcome me on our trip down to Kaohsiung on the high-speed railway. We rode down together and discussed many issues on that trip. And I must share with you another piece of news, and that is today I spoke with the leadership in the House of Representatives about the legislation that I've authored in order to welcome Taiwan, a position into the ICAO, into the International Civil Aviation Organization. And we have the commitment now to bring that bill up on the floor of the House of Representatives. So we are going to do that. We are going to do that because that will help give Taiwan the necessary tools it needs now that there's so much more trade and so many more flights that are going on between Taiwan and the United States. Because as a result of the visa waiver program, which we worked to implement, there are now many more flights coming from Taiwan to the United States. Many more families coming here to visit, many more business people coming here to conduct business. But as a necessary requirement here, we have to make certain that the airport in Taiwan, in real time, has access to the same technology that other major airports around the world have. So just as we worked to obtain status for Taiwan in the World Health Organization, so now we will do so with respect to civil aviation. Another issue that is important in terms of giving Taiwan the space it needs is to increase the ties to the United States with respect to trade and investment. And that's another area where the United States and Taiwan are going to work together in order to make certain that when those computers are manufactured in Kaohsiung, I saw a factory there, that they have access to the market here in the United States with the lowest possible tariff so that Taiwan can further expand its export markets. But it will also allow us in the United States to do more trade and investment with Taiwan. And this is another focus of broadening and deepening the relationship between Taiwan and the United States. And of course, the other aspect of that was represented by the naval base, which I visited after we rode down on the train with my delegation. And the delegation went aboard one of these submarines that was a World War II Guppy type submarine, where Taiwanese sailors are trained. Clearly, we need to address the requirements in the Taiwan Relations Act. And so on all of these issues, we want to work with Taiwan. And with that, let me introduce again Chairman Su and allow you to say a few words.
Royce 主席，还有各位众议员、理事先生，我非常高兴今天在美国的国会受到这样子酒会的欢迎。尤其刚才Royce 主席特别提到，他到台湾的时候，跟我有那么样特别的机会，搭乘台湾的高铁，从台北一直到左营。我们和当时拜访台湾的6位国会议员一起，长达90分钟的时间，我们充分的交换了意见，同时也让他感受到一个特别的经验。我们是在快速行驶300公里的速度中，谈了很多台美双方共同关切的事项。罗伊斯主席不但对台湾 各种问题他非常的熟悉，并且表示关心，而且他在国会里边提出各种法案，都是跟台湾密切相关。刚才他特别提到，也在推动台湾加强法案，能够让台湾不但在国际机场能够新的科技来更通讯各方面的安全，同时也帮助台湾能够在武器的获得，像智慧性的、像潜艇、像各种方面，而不是在用2次大战时期，这都是因为他亲自看到。而台美之间的关系是密切而必要的，像罗伊斯主席，他在几天前，我第一次到了 LA 的时候，罗伊斯主席特别到加州陪我一起进场，参加台湾乡亲台裔美国人的欢迎会上，罗伊斯主席特别发表专题的演讲，受到乡亲，也就是他的选民的热情欢迎，展现了他的魅力。那现在在这里，他又特别举办这一个酒会，而看到更多的议员都相继前来，包括我们博润邦主席都来，我特别表示感谢，特别谢谢主席。
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Another issue that I just want to discuss briefly, and then I'd like some of my colleagues to come forward and identify themselves for the media here. But the issue that I think we should discuss has to do with an injustice that has, for many, many years, been perpetrated on the fishermen in Taiwan, who, in trying to make a living, in trying to support their families, go out at great risk, and many times have to carry with them a roll of money in case they're stopped on the high seas. Because if they're stopped, they know they might have to pay a ransom. They might have to pay a ransom in order to protect their fishing boat. And we have a tragedy in the attack recently on a fisherman. 50 rounds fired into the back of that boat. And it's incumbent upon us who are concerned about the rights of Taiwanese to speak out. I issued a statement after the attack calling for an investigation done jointly by Taiwan as well as by the Philippine government into this attack. Our hearts go out to the family, and yes, there should be an apology to the family, but also, as I said, there should be an apology to the people of Taiwan and to the government of Taiwan for this act. And hopefully going forward, we reach agreement with respect to the rights of Taiwanese fishermen who fish in Taiwanese waters and in their traditional fishing areas without this type of harassment. I've contacted the government of the Philippines on this issue, and I think it's an issue of principle in which the United States needs to make it very clear that this type of injustice that's gone on for far too long in terms of Taiwanese fishermen come to an end. Thank you. I'll ask my colleagues to come forward to identify themselves.
Thank you, Chairman Royce. Yes, I'd like to first recognize Congresswoman Gwen Moore from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, one of my favorite cities.
How are you?
You want to say hello, Congresswoman?
Ladies first.
My name is Gwen Moore. I represent the 4th Congressional District of Wisconsin. I really want to welcome Chairman Tseng-chang here. I think it's extremely important for us to have these visits and talks with each other so there can be clarity and understanding between our countries. And many of my colleagues are debating on the floor and taking care of other duties, but I can assure you that they will come into the room later on, and this will, and let the dialogue continue. And again, welcome, and thank you so much for having me.
Always a pleasure and an honor for me to introduce the following senator, Senator Sherrod Brown from Ohio. One of the members of Congress I've known forever, and he even came to my wedding, so welcome.
Iris's wedding. You missed my line, man. So I said I came to Iris's wedding. It's the reason I showed up. So, thank you, and Congressman Moore, Congressman Petrie, nice to see you, and Congressman Royce and others. Thank you for what DPP does. I've worked with Taiwan from my time in the House of Representatives more than 20 years ago, and seen, the miracle of Taiwan, the move to democracy over over the last 2 decades, the prosperity, and it really is the DPP that played, I think, the driving force in making that happen. And what FAPA has done, both in working in Taiwan, but what FAPA has done in this country to help organize the Taiwan caucus, when and the number of people who are here today were early joiners or even founders of that. I appreciate that. And you really do look at the miracle of Taiwan. I don't think that enough of my colleagues here, enough from the Taiwanese community in the United States about the progress. And when you think a country that was not a democracy 20 plus years ago, and how you've made that transition, and how you've done it in a way to bring prosperity and to not just the elite in Taiwan, but to many Taiwanese, better than many countries, than most countries in the world have done that. We'll continue our efforts, and I will continue my efforts in the Senate on Taiwan moving forward on World Health Assembly, World Health Organization, with Taiwan being part of international organizations. And I've always kind of jokingly said, one China, one Taiwan, one Tibet. And you know what that means in terms of sovereignty, in terms of human rights. So to Mark and to Mike and to Kuhn and to all of you, John and all of you, I so appreciate the work you've done in our country, interacting with Congress and making the world a better place as a result. Thank you very much.
I'd like to welcome Congressman Petrie from Wisconsin also. So thank you very much.
Well, I'm very delighted to join my colleague Gwen Moore from Wisconsin. Wisconsin is in the center of our country, north of Chicago, and my colleague Sherrod Brown, and especially my Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Ed Royce, and welcoming you on this occasion, and to say that Taiwan is an Asian tiger, and has been one of, if not the first one. And certainly its booming economy and close ties with the American economy are something that we very, very much appreciate. So thank you for your friendship and for this occasion.
Thank you, Congressman Petrie. And I'd also like to recognize Ray Burghardt, Chairman of the American Institute of Finance. I know he doesn't like to make speeches, and he doesn't like to be called to the microphone unannounced. However, I would like to welcome him to say it.
I know enough after many years in Washington to never get in the way of a congressman making a speech. And I figured there'd be a lot more who would want to talk and didn't want to take up their time. Great to be here and to be with old friend, Chairman Tseng-chang. Known him since I was in my days when I was in Taiwan. I remember visiting him in his office in Taipei County, and of course later when he was Prime Minister. We're a democracy. Taiwan is a democracy. As a democracy, we recognize that one of the inherent features of a democracy is to have competition, political competition, and to have an opposition party. And we respect that. And we know that, so welcoming the DPP, we've always maintained excellent relations with the DPP. When the KMT was in the opposition, we maintained excellent relations with them. That's the way we conduct our foreign policy. And we understand very well your wish to have a strengthened office here in Washington. And we're glad that was able to happen. And so welcome to you and congratulations on the opening of your office. And great to be here with you. And I see that we have a good friend here that's going to follow me. And I knew, so I'm just a brief interlude between the congressional speakers. So, all right. Hey,
Thank you so very
see
much.
you again.
You are more than just a-
Thank you, Chairman Burkhart, for bridging the gap. Nobody saw that, right? Yeah, what can I say? Former chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congresswoman Ileana Rossley, and with her talented staff, 4, 5, 6.
I got an entourage.
And so, without further ado, a warm hand for Congresswoman Ileana
Thank
Rossley.
you. You're such a good friend. Thank you so very much. He's very tall and I'm very short, but what an honor, what a privilege, what a delight it is to be here with you. What an honor to welcome Chairman Su of the Democratic Progressive Party here to the United States. And I have a special presentation to make to Chairman Su. Chairman Su, your lifelong commitment to freedom and to democracy for the people of Taiwan is truly an inspiration for us all. The American flag, as we know, is the most widely recognized symbol of freedom, of democracy around the world. And it is my pleasure to present it to a real champion of those very ideals. Nate, come on over here. And then I'm going to say a few more words and embarrass you further. Would you gentlemen join us here? Sure. Thank you. Please join us. Chairman Su, it is a great honor to present to you a flag that not only stands for freedom and democracy, goals that we both share, but this flag was actually flown over the United States Capitol in your honor and in your name. And let me hand that to you. It's a little bit heavy. And let me present the accompanying certificate that goes with it. And it says, the flag of the United States of America. On June 12, 2013, this flag was presented by the Honorable Ileana Ros-Lehtinen, Member of Congress, to Chairman Su, the Chairman of the Democratic Progressive Party of Taiwan, in honor of his efforts to strengthen freedom and democracy for the people of Taiwan. Chairman Su, thank you. Thank you so much. And I have had the privilege of being in Taiwan on several occasions, and every time I am very pleasantly taken aback by the love of freedom and democracy of the people of Taiwan. And Taiwan's remarkable transition into one of the world's most vibrant democracies is an inspiration to those oppressed people who continue to struggle for those very same freedoms. Now, I was born in Cuba, so I know about oppression, and I know about authoritarian regimes. But when that freedom, that day of freedom, finally comes to my native homeland of Cuba, I know that Taiwan's transformation will be a model for the Cuban people to follow. An open society that allows different opinions is one of the hallmarks of a true democracy. And I continue to be impressed by your accomplishments. As the democratic governance of Taiwan has consolidated, so has the United States' commitment to the preservation of the people's hard-won freedoms. Over the years, the freedom and the friendship and the support and the cooperation between the United States and Taiwan has cemented into one of the most cherished partnerships that we have. It is a partnership based on an unshakable foundation of shared values and a commitment to peace and prosperity for our peoples. Our track record is solid. The Taiwan Relations Act, as all of us know, it has served as the rock, the cornerstone of our relationship for the past 34 years. And while we recognize the accomplishments of the Taiwan Relations Act, we must also realize the changing needs of Taiwan in an increasingly hostile geopolitical neighborhood. Together with the co-chairs of the Congressional Taiwan Caucus, Congressman Mario Diaz-Balart, John Carter, Albio Ceres, and Jerry Connolly, I was proud to introduce the Taiwan Policy Act earlier this year. This is a multi-pronged legislation that addresses a dozen aspects of the US-Taiwan relationships. And among its provision is the authorization of the sale of much-needed F-16CD fighter aircraft, as well as the transfer of decommissioned Perry-class guided missile frigates to Taiwan. The bill also calls for the expanded trade relations between our two countries, and it supports increased Taiwanese participation in international organizations, including observer status in the International Civil Aviation Organization. And let me tell you about this last part that I just said. Observer status in the International Civil Aviation Organization. That bill will be in the floor of the House on Tuesday. So we hope on Tuesday to pass that bill in the House and send it to the Senate, and that is going to further strengthen the role of Taiwan in international organizations. So the combined measures of the Taiwan Policy Act will strengthen diplomatic relations. It will help preserve Taiwan's self-determination by bolstering its defense capabilities and empower the Taiwanese people internationally. The United States government remains committed to the people of Taiwan, and I look forward to continuing this strong relationship and association. So, Mr. Chairman, thank you. And my good friend, thank you. Come on over here. Come on over. Look at you, getting very, very, come on over here.
Take a photo.
Well, you come join us. You come join us. But thank you. Here for stronger days ahead, a stronger U.S.-Taiwanese relationship, and I hope that that U.S. flag will be displayed in your office with a lot of pride, the same pride with which I presented it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We are voting, so I've got to go. Thank you. Thank you, Chairman. Thank you. It is an honor always to be with you. Thank you. Thank you. Go get a gift card.
Thank you, Chairwoman Ross Layton, and Nathan, Eddie, Christine, Art, the whole team.
Thank you.
Yes. And we talked about the Taiwan Caucus, which Papa was very instrumental in establishing about 11 years ago. And I'd like to recognize somebody there standing against the door, Jeremy Cadden, who was the staff director for the longest time for the Taiwan Caucus. So we miss him because he's no longer in Capitol Hill. Warm hands for Jeremy. And I'd like to quickly introduce two very important members of Congress, two friends of Taiwan. And that is Congressman Shimkus and Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. And if it's okay with you, Congresswoman, ladies first. So, Congresswoman Bernice Johnson.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I feel some kinship to Taiwan since I've been over there so many times and have so many constituents. than a Taiwanese American. So I felt that I had to come by and speak, and most of you I have met before, so thank you very much.
And let me, a special honor for us to have Congressman John Shimkus from Illinois here with us, and he's going to say a few words.
My pleasure. It's good to be here, and thank you for what you do. Also, you need to have a great appreciation for the Taiwanese Americans who work very diligently to make sure we know the Taiwanese American issues up at the forefront of all of our agendas, and that's what all this is about. My chief of staff was able to lead a delegation. He's called Leader Roberts because of being there, and your efforts are well noted, and you've got friends in the United States and in the House of Representatives. More are coming in, so I'll let them come visit. Thank you very much.
Thank you. For me, always a pleasure to introduce one of the longest long-term friends of Taiwan in the U.S. Congress, who is also very close to our Taiwanese Americans in New Jersey. 1st District, Cherry Hill, Congressman Robert Andrews.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. We're honored by your presence, and you come at a crucial time for the United States and for Taiwan. What has always unified us is our common devotion to human rights and democracy and free speech and the rule of law. We continue to show profound respect for the people of Taiwan in each of these respects, but frankly there are issues which concern us. And I must say that many of my colleagues, both Republicans and Democrats, share a grave concern on the human rights issue of former President Chen and his condition. And I don't believe, just as this is not a Republican or Democratic issue in the United States, it should not be a partisan or political issue in Taiwan. I know that people on many sides of the political spectrum have spoken. Let me lend my voice here tonight that the continued situation of incarceration for the former president raises grave human rights concerns. And those are concerns that we feel here, and I know are felt around the world. Let me also say that we've had our own worries in recent weeks about freedom of the press, with some reports about government looking at accounts of reporters and news organizations here in the United States, and we're deeply concerned about that. Frankly, some of us have a concern of recent reports of media consolidation within Taiwan, and concerns about students and citizens who have spoken up and their concern for this issue and the way they've been treated. So we respect the discretion and autonomy of the people of Taiwan to govern their country as they see fit. But let it be known that we also have a high respect for human rights. And among those human rights are the right to live and be treated in dignity. And we have concerns about what's happening to President Chen. And it's the right to speak freely and organize and have freedom of the press, and we have concerns there as well. You should have no concern about the fact that both Republicans and Democrats here in the United States Capitol support fiercely the freedom and human rights of the people of the great Republic of Taiwan. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Congressman Andrews. Congressman Andrews has been the most outspoken voice calling for medical parole for President Chen in Taiwan. So I see Congressman Sherman, Congressman Carter, Congressman Meadows. Is it okay if we follow this line? So always an honor to introduce Congressman Brad Sherman from the Best Named District, Sherman Oaks. Thank you, Congressman.
Hello, I'm Brad Sherman from California's best named city, Sherman Oaks. It's a pleasure to be with you and to once again voice my support for a one China policy and a one Taiwan policy. A one Paraguay policy, a one Argentina policy, etc. And I'm still studying this, but I may be coming out for a one Tibet policy as well. I have sat on the Foreign Affairs Committee for 17 years. I see our ranking member, Elliot Engel, just stepped in. And I look forward to working with you for many years to come to forge a real vibrant relationship between these two democracies. I recognize that Taiwan has a unique national security situation. I am the chief Democrat on the subcommittee that deals with the licensing of export for arms. And I look forward to Taiwan not only being a democratic country, but a secure country as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. There are not a lot of members of Congress of the 435 members who speak Dutch, but there is only one who can say a few words because his wife is Dutch. And that's Congressman John Carter, who is the co-chair of the Taiwan Congress.
I think I was challenged to speak Dutch. I don't know what that has to do with Taiwan. I'm very proud to be the co-chair of the Taiwan caucus. I too am involved in Taiwan because I believe that Taiwan should stay free and independent, and I'm for a one Taiwan world. And I don't like the idea of anybody pointing missiles at anybody. And I sure don't like the idea that there are people pointing missiles at Taiwan. So I'm a friend of Taiwan. I visited your country. I loved it. I enjoyed it. My wife enjoyed it, and I plan to go back. My door is open to you. I'm a member of the Appropriations Committee. I'm a subcommittee chairman for Appropriations. And if there's anything I can do to assist you, I'm here to help. But I'm for freedom for Taiwan. God bless you.
As we already heard from Congressman Sherman, an honor to introduce Congressman Elliot Engel, who we've been working with forever with his chief of staff, Jason Steinbaum. So Congressman Engel from New York.
Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to be here. I'm Congressman Elliot Engel of New York. I'm the ranking member on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and you can see support for Taiwan is strong and it's bipartisan, and that's just the way it should be. Every time I've been to Taiwan, I've been there a number of times. The friendship, the warm feeling I feel from the people of Taiwan to the people of the United States is something that's there, and I can tell you it's not there in every country we visit. It certainly is there with Taiwan. This Congress the previous Congress passed the Taiwan Relations Act several years ago, and that should be the governing of the relationship between our two countries. I believe that the United States has responsibilities with regard to Taiwan, and I think that the United States should always fulfill its responsibilities. So I'm here as a friend of Taiwan. It's an amazing nation, it's an amazing island, where it's small, but what you've done in terms of your economy and GDP and democracy, it's everything that we can ever hope for, everything that we say we stand for in the United States has been done in Taiwan. So I'm here as a friend of Taiwan, I'm here as the ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, and to tell you that here we have Democrats and Republicans, all good people saying we love Taiwan, and we do. Thank you.
Congressman, yes, please, this is Chairman Su. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Well, you've heard echoed throughout the afternoon about the bipartisan support for Taiwan, and that goes whenever you hear it over and over and over again. There is some truth in that, but there's not only a bit of truth, there is truly a foundation of where we stand as friends of Taiwan. I'm here as a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee and a new appointee to the Executive Commission on China, And so it is a real pleasure to be here and say thank you. We've had great hospitality. The ambassador's wife reached out to my wife and myself, and we had an unbelievable dinner the other night where truly the hospitality that was given, we expect that more in North Carolina, where I'm from, than we would from Taiwan. But I just want to say thank you. We look forward to having a great relationship going forward to build on the great foundation that we already have. And it's an honor to be here tonight. Thank you.
We saw Congressman Howard Coble. Did he leave? Here. Oh, Congressman Coble, yes. We're hoping you would stick around. Yes. Congressman Coble from North Carolina is a very loyal friend of ours. And he, I think since President Lee came here, Frank Shea, Tseng-chang, he always shows up. So I'm really very flattered and very honored that Congressman Coble from North Carolina, warm hand.
Mostly a bad back. That's why I was sitting back in the corner. But Mark and Elliot, where'd Elliot go? Dave, Mark. Okay, I will do that. I'm just going to praise him and Mark for what they said. And I will repeat what you and Mark said, Elliot. You said it all, and you said it very accurately. And my friend has asked me to tell my favorite Taiwan story. When I was there some years ago, I'm in the elevator, riding up to my room, and I'm alone in the elevator, and I'm whistling. And the elevator stopped at the next floor, and a Taiwanese gentleman walked in, and he heard me whistling, and he said, "Happy man, happy man." And I always remember that. And I appreciate the proud relationship that we've enjoyed with Taiwan. As I said, my previous speakers have already said it, but I want to reiterate it. Best wishes to all of you. I'm going to grab my chair again.
I just heard that Congressman Nick Joe Rahal from West Virginia was here briefly, but unfortunately he had to leave. So I would like to introduce Congressman Scott Garrett from New Jersey. He is, I think as a grassroots organization, we are always, grassroots organization meaning having members all over the United States. And we're very proud that Congressman Garrett met with our Taiwanese in his northern Jersey district, especially Michael Young, and build up a friendship to the extent that he works with us, he trusts us, he listens to us, if it's not too much to say. So thank you very much, Congressman Scott Garrett from New Jersey.
Thank you for the kind words, and I guess those three words are: I listen to you, I trust you, and I work with you. And not only you, but also from the folks back in the district as well. So my district has changed somewhat with redistricting, but fortunately, the Taiwanese community, that section of the district remains good and strong in the district. So we will pledge to continue that working relationship going forward. I've enjoyed the relationship that I've had over the last 10 years. Time flies, doesn't it? Time flies. I look forward to build upon that in the future. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
In 1979, before I was born, we had the Taiwan Relations Act was passed by Congress because Congress was disappointed in President Nixon at the time establishing diplomatic relations and sort of throwing Taiwan under the bus. And I'm not being diplomatic right now. And the chairman of the House Asian Subcommittee at the time saw to it, I would say single-handedly, that Taiwan was not thrown under the bus. And the person who was instrumental, or the chairman at the time, who was instrumental in saving Taiwan, was then Congressman Lester Wolf. Congressman Lester Wolf is, I think, 92 years old today, and we're very honored that he joins us today. So a hand for Lester Wolf. We want to thank you. I would call for standing ovation if we were not all standing up.
First of all, let me say thank you because
Thank you, Roy.
not only I should thank you, but you should thank him too, you folks from Taiwan who have done such a great job over the years for Taiwan. You know, he said something about the fact that I'm getting on in years. I usually start my remarks by saying, I'm glad to be here. And in fact, at 94, I'm glad to be anyplace. I think the importance of Taiwan to the United States has been evidenced by the fact that over the years, there has been continued support for Taiwan. And the reason for it, basically, is not only for Taiwan's sake, but for the United States' sake as well. Taiwan is important to the United States, and that's why you're continuing to have the support that you have. My best wishes to all of you, and I say Taiwan. Oh.
I said Congressman Wolf is 92, but he turns out to be 94. Unbelievable. Thank you, Congressman Wolf. We have a couple more members of Congress coming. I would like to invite the president of FAPA, Dr. Mark Kao from New Jersey, to say a few words. We're very honored to host this reception, and so without further ado, Dr. Mark Kao, the president of FAPA.
Thank you, Kun. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Dear Chairman Su, and the delegation from Taiwan, the congressmen and friends. It is a great honor for us to welcome you to Washington, and the Papa is honored to host this reception. As we know, US-Taiwan relationships are pivotal, and it's very important for the future of Taiwan. And it is important for the policymakers in Taiwan to know how Washington works. It is also important for the policymakers and the US Congress to know what the aspirations and hope Taiwanese people have. So Mr. Su, he was the only member of DPP since the dark days of martial law era. And thanks to your leadership, Taiwan has moved forward and DPP is a viable party, and I hope it will steer Taiwan to a better future. The US Congress played a very important role in the transition of Taiwan democracy. In the old days, in Senate we have Ted Kennedy from Massachusetts, Will Claiborne, Pell from Rhode Island. And also we have, in the House, we have Stephen Solas from New York and Jim Leach from Iowa. And these Congress and senators are the Gang of Four, we call them. And the Gang of Four plays a very important role in transition Taiwan's democracy. And we Taiwanese Americans are eternally grateful to those Gang of Four and also the US Congress to help Taiwan to walk through this difficult time, and now it's democracy. So Taiwan is a democracy now, but it's a fragile and it's very young democracy. Dr. Martin Luther King used to say he has a dream. We Taiwanese Americans also have a dream, and this dream is that we want Taiwan can move into the international isolation, move out of international isolation, and we should disband this outdated one-China policy, and Taiwan can be accepted in the international community as a full and equal member. Taiwan is an independent and free nation, but we Taiwanese American in the country believe that the country of birth should be treated as equal members of the international community. And we should be able to join WHO and also United Nations and other international organizations. However, the current approach of meaningful participation of international communities, that does not require statehood. To us, that's not good enough. Taiwan should be able to join the international community as a state, as a country. And we hope in the near future Taiwan will be able to join the international community as the country named Taiwan, not Taiwanese Taipei or other confusion or obscure names. This is a big dream for us, but we also have some small dreams. Our dream is that in the near future, U.S. Congress will pass the Taiwan Policy Act. We appreciate that recently it has been passed in the House Asia and the Pacific Committee, and also in the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee. And we hope this bill will be on the floor and passed in the near future. We also have a dream that Taiwan and the U.S., United States, will enhance defense cooperation. Taiwan needs U.S. help, weapons, and this will help Taiwan's defense. And just last week, DPP had passed this National Defense Group paper, and this issue has stressed the importance of these issues. And this is an excellent start, and we appreciate that. We also have a dream that the Taiwanese judicial system should be reformed, because the current judicial system is too biased toward the ruling party, and it stems from the 38 years of martial law. We also have a dream that the U.S. Congress, together with the Obama administration, will help former President Chen Shui-bian to be released from the jail based on medical parole. Enough is enough. This is important. Taiwan needs to bridge the deep political divide and move towards reconciliation. Today, we are pleased to have many more strong supporters in the U.S., including Congress Scott Garrett and Chevron and all, many of those Ed Royce, many of the congressmen and senators. Together, we work together to enhance U.S.-Taiwan relations, to sustain Taiwan's democracy and freedom. We believe a free and democratic country of Taiwan will maintain the regional stability and also is the best interest of the United States and Taiwan. Thank you, Mr. Su, for your delegation to coming to Washington, D.C. On Capitol Hill. And on behalf of Taiwanese Americans, I welcome you to the United States, and I look forward to working with you.
Let me introduce to you a new friend of Taiwan, Congressman Gary Bentivolio from Detroit. He, Michigan, not Detroit.
Next door.
Oh, next door to Detroit. Okay. And I worked with his staff pretty intense, and I know he is a veteran. He was a teacher, and he just went to Taiwan, as a matter of fact, last month.
Had a wonderful time.
And he participated in the interreligious interfaith. And so I'd like to introduce to you Congressman Gary Bentivolio.
Oh, wow, thank you.
Hello, everybody. What a wonderful opportunity. This is the second time today they surprised the speech on me. Yeah, lunchtime, I didn't know I was supposed to give a speech, and I gave one. So I'm going to be like John Wayne and shoot from the hip. Let me tell you about my trip to Taiwan. It was a wonderful time. I was told, though, you have a lot of earthquakes there, is that right? About once a week. I have never been in an earthquake, and I don't want to be in it. So next time I come, which hopefully will be soon, you can tell whoever it is that makes those earthquakes. But it's kind of like the only bad part of the thing, if I can say that, get away with it, was the long flight. I wish you were closer to the United States. Actually, you are, metaphorically, closer to the United States every day. And we appreciate that relationship. And I proposed a bill to improve relations. I think you've seen that? Yes. Okay. And now I understand it's become an amendment for the bill. The possible, we have an amendment that might just get voted on Friday. So cross your fingers. Cross your fingers. But anyway, thank you for the wonderful opportunity. I hope to get to know each and every one of you more and improve our relationship between Taiwan and the United States. And God bless you all. Thank you very much.
I think there's a solution for that long flight, because there's a campaign, there's an international organization, which campaigns for moving all the people of Taiwan to Cuba, because they want to be close to the United States. So we're going to fix that before your next trip.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I'll write the bill.
Yeah, and the Congressman introduced a amendment, I think yesterday, right, about lifting the restrictions on high-level visits from dignitaries from Taiwan.
Very important.
Yes, thank you very much. What can I say? Congressman Steve Shevit, the current chairman of the House Asian Subcommittee, long-time friend of Taiwan, started on the grassroots level also, as many of our friends in Congress did. And he is so supportive of Taiwan that when we celebrated last December our organization's 30-year anniversary, I asked him whether he could come to San Jose all the way. And he said, I can. I'll fly there. I'll leave at 7 o'clock in the morning. I rent a car from San Francisco to San Jose. I'll stay for 2 hours, and I'll take the red eye back all the way to Cincinnati. And I think that's the kind of friend of Taiwan Congressman Steve Shevit is. And he said he would have stayed longer were it not for the fact that his wife asked him to mow the lawn the next morning. Otherwise he would have been long.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, it's really an honor to have Chairman Su here and an old friend, Joseph Wu, who we've known for a long time, and so many other folks here. And Dr. Tsai is head of FAPA, is just a tremendous individual, and one of the previous presidents of FAPA is Dr. C.T. Lee, who's from Cincinnati, and he's the one that actually came to my office when I was running for Congress back in 1994, and nobody else thought I was going to be able to win, but Dr. Lee did, and he said, when you win, we want you to be a friend of Taiwan, and so we did win, and I've been a friend of Taiwan. And it's been a wonderful journey, a wonderful experience, and the people of Taiwan are very much like Americans in many ways. They believe in democracy and hard work and freedom, and that's why our countries get along so well. And when I say country, I mean country when I'm talking about Taiwan. And I was one of the 4 founders of the Congressional Taiwan Caucus quite a few years ago. I've been to Taiwan many times, was there about a month ago. And during that trip, I and another member of Congress, I'm a Republican, Emi Feliam-Mavega is a Democrat. He's the ranking Democrat on the committee that I chair. And we went to see former President Chen Shui-bian in prison. And it was bittersweet. It was good to see an old friend again, but it was also sad in many ways because his physical and emotional and mental condition has deteriorated so much in recent years. You know, he has Parkinson's, his hand would tremble like that. His speech is very much impaired. He has a very deep stutter. He's clearly, you know, we read his medical records before going, and he's been
through severe depression. We know he's had a number of suicide attempts. And without commenting on the legalities of the actions that resulted in all of this, I think it's clearly in his best interest, in his family's best interest, in Taiwan's best interest to grant him medical parole. He should not be any longer in a prison. He's been there for more than 4 years now. He should be either in a medical facility or should he be at home with his family. There's no further good to be served by him serving any more time behind bars. And we did meet with President Ma the next day and urged him to act in a humanitarian manner in this matter as well. And so we're certainly hoping that the government does the right thing. Our two countries have a very long and important relationship. Taiwan is one of our best allies on this globe in a very challenging part of the world. You've got the PRC right there with, when I first started in Congress, it was a couple hundred missiles pointed at Taiwan. Now it's 12 to 1,600. I get different numbers all the time, but it's far too many. And therefore Taiwan, it's important that Taiwan does increase its military and security capabilities, whether it's planes or submarines or missile defense. Those all need to be improved, and the United States needs to play an important and active role in that. But let me just conclude by saying that Taiwan has many, many friends in the United States Congress, both in the House and the Senate, both Republicans and Democrats. And I believe in the administration as well. A little more challenging with the administration than it is with Congress. I think both under the previous administration and this administration, unfortunately. But a lot of friends in the United States Congress, and we look forward to continuing that relationship. And we also, even as we're bipartisan here, Republicans and Democrats, we will be friends to DPP and KMP, whoever. We care about the country. And we welcome and congratulate the DPP in opening up their office on Capitol Hill. That's a wonderful step, and we congratulate you for that. And I think they're very fortunate to have such a leader, the stature of Chairman Su. So, Chairman Su, congratulations, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
We have a couple more members of Congress coming, but I would like to invite the former ambassador of Taiwan to the United States, Dr. Joseph Wu, who is a longtime friend of Papa, and I'd like to invite him to say a few words, and then maybe afterwards, Mr. Su, that was a little bit impromptu, the previous thing, so maybe we can do that again, and then translate in the microphone, also translate in the microphone. Okay? So Dr. Joseph Wu.
Chairman Su, Chairman Charlotte, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad to be over here again, and I'm very glad to be called ambassador. And a very good friend of mine called me Joseph, and that reminds me that my previous service in the United States in between 2007 and 2008 seemed to be working pretty good. And I think people remember me, and I still remember the days that technical officers were bringing me around on the Capitol Hill buildings, and those were the good old days. But I'm very glad that we are having an office in Washington, D.C., the DPP mission in the United States. It's going to formally inaugurate on Friday, and I'll be coming back and forth to do the things that I think that is in the best interest of Taiwan and in the best interest of the people of Taiwan. And I would like to turn it back to Kuhn. I really appreciate that all of you can come over here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joseph. I'd like to, we heard a few words by Chairman Su earlier, but I think that was a little bit too impromptu, as I said. So hopefully Mr. Su can say a few words, and then Joseph, maybe you can translate in the microphone so that we have everything on camera.
questions.
Thank you.我们 Ed Lois 主席，还有所有参众议会的议员各位贵宾，今天我真的非常高兴，也很感动，这真是重要的一天，感动的一天。今天我们看到，在美国的国会有超过这么多的参众议员一起来，它不但是超越参院众院，超越党派，而且超越国界，所谈的都是民主、人权、自由，所关切的都是两国之间，包括人民的最大利益。在台美之间没有邦交的时候，正因为有美国国会通过《台湾关系法》，这30几年来，让台湾能够坚定的站起着，而且维持自由、民主、人权，我们非常感谢。那现在今天从参众议员谈话里边，我们看到他们关切台湾的人权，关切台湾的安全，关切台湾的自由、民主，关切陈前总统的医疗健康，关切移民被迫害的情形。我们真的感谢美国国会的议员们对台湾这样子的关切，因为有你们的坚定支持，甚至进一步的推动法案，促进武器、防卫性武器的出售，才有让台湾坚定的走下去，并且会进一步，民进党努力来让台湾继续维持自由、民主、人权，加强两国之间的关系。我们非常感谢高会长有话把，大家一起努力，让今天这个会能够这么样盛大、温暖、成功。尤其 Estina 前主席特别送给我那一面，在这个国会屋顶上6月23号飘扬的美国国旗，象征着自由、民主、人权，而且期待民进党、台湾两国的人民共同努力。我们一定坚持这种信念，一定坚持继续努力。God bless America. God bless Taiwan.
I appreciate it very much that Chairman Royce and Chairman Shabbat can come over here and host this reception. And this is such a touching day. I'm very glad that members of the Congress can come over here, and they come not only from the House side, but also from the Senate side. And they not only belong to the Republicans, but also come from the Democrats. And they cross the national boundaries to speak about human rights and freedom and democracy. And I think they speak about the best interests for Taiwan and for the United States. Even though there's no formal diplomatic relations between Taiwan and the United States. But 30 years ago, when the Congress enacted the Taiwan Relations Act, that shows that Taiwan and the United States have been standing together, firmly supporting the human rights and democracy. And that is also the reason why Taiwan can flourish today. From today's statements by the congressmen, they care about the human rights situation in Taiwan. They care about Taiwan's freedom and democracy, and also Taiwan's security. And they care about the medical rights of former President Chen. And they also care about the rights of Taiwan's fishermen. And I'm deeply appreciative of their firm commitment and their support for Taiwan. And they also spoke about the bills that they are proposing, including the sale of weapons to Taiwan and the firm commitment to Taiwan's security or international participation. And under such a firm commitment, Taiwan should be able to continue to move on as a democracy. We appreciate Dr. Mark Gao of FAPA for for successfully organizing today's event. And I also appreciate the fact that the chairwoman, Iliana Rosvatinen, has sent me a flag. And this is just not an ordinary American flag, but it was also the flag that flown on top of the Capitol building on June 23rd. And it symbolized freedom, human rights, and democracy. And that also shows that Taiwan and the United States need to continue to work together to safeguard the freedom and human rights and democracy. And Chairman says that he thanks everybody over here.
Jintosha, the best guests always come latest. Art Estopinan and Christine Del Portillo. Art, thank you, Christine. We have a couple more members of Congress coming. I think our reception is still for about 3-4 minutes, so let's stick around for a little bit. Maybe, Joseph, maybe you want to do this.